I wanted to make a video speaking about the Mars retrograde that's coming up tomorrow, September 9th, 2020. I wanted to talk about what Mars is all about, what it means when it's going to go retrograde, and what that can mean for us on a personal level, and mostly on a personal level, I think. I want to keep this one personal. I think there's been enough world talk right now on how the world is being impacted. We know the world is going through a massive change, and I think with that being said, we are all being called to do some of our own changing on a personal, internal level, and I think this is the perfect time to do that work. A retrograde, that's what it's all about. It's sort of doing things internally, revising, redoing, anything to do with So that's what I'm going to speak a little bit about today in this video. So when a planet goes retrograde, from our perspective here on Earth, the planet essentially looks like it's slowing down and stopping and not moving in the sky for a period of time. Mars is all about action. Mars is all about instinct. Mars is quick to react, fast. It doesn't like to slow down. So that's why this retrograde might be a little bit more of an intense period for most, especially because Mars is going retrograde in his home sign of Aries, one of his home signs. So that energy to instinctually act on our will, our internal desire, Mars is actually so much so about desire, that energy is going to be amplified. So with retrograde energy, it's a good time to internalize, reflect, again, revise, all of those words. And with this Mars retrograde, taking this theme of Mars being about our desire, some of the things that we can be reflecting about right now are getting in tune with our desires and actually understanding the intention behind them. Do we know why we're doing what we're doing? Do we know why we act in the ways that we act? Do we know why we're after what we're after? Do we need to revisit some of those intentions and actually restructure them? Look at them and say, do I actually still want this? Sometimes when we actually end up getting the things that we've been working so hard for, when we end up getting the things that we want, do you ever find that when we actually get it, it's not as exciting as we thought it might be? And it's sort of like, oh, okay, what's next? And it's just like on to the next thing. And so I think, again, this is why we really need to stay connected and make sure that we are remaining connected to the intention behind our actions, to the intention behind our desires. What are our desires really all about? We just had a full moon in Pisces that happened on September 1st or 2nd, depending on where you are in the world. And Pisces is all about getting into a higher mind, getting beyond this world, this physical material world, getting in touch with the ethereal, everything that's unseen. And so that's the perfect opportunity, the full moon, the culmination, that building up of energy to release and create. That is a great time, and we're still riding off of that energy to stay connected to our higher selves, to stay connected to our higher purpose, to our soul side, the internal soul being within us. And again, it's when we get in touch with that soul being inside of us that we can remember why it is we're doing what we're doing and why we want what we want. We are soul beings having a human experience, and I think we tend to forget that, myself very much included. And so when we step out of the mental chatter that we allow ourselves to get so caught up in and ground ourselves in the present moment, that's when we can give ourselves the chance to connect to that higher being within us that knows what's really going on, and experience life, experience the moment fully, experience the feelings that we're all here to experience. Mars is all about the immediate response, the will, the instinct, so therefore we can correlate it with our anger. And again, Mars retrograde, reflecting, we can reflect on our relationship with our anger. And, do we have a healthy relationship with anger? Do we allow ourselves to feel anger? Do we just sort of blow up beyond the level of anger and it sort of just turns into aggression all the time? Do we ever draw a line in the sand between anger and aggression? Because it's very possible to, I think anger can be a very healthy emotion if it's harnessed properly and has the right intention. Anger can get shit done if it needs to, but when it turns into aggression has no moral compass, and that's when things get murky, and that's when we lose touch with our higher selves and let our emotions run the show. So this is a perfect time to be asking ourselves these types of questions. Do I have a healthy relationship with my anger? Do I allow myself to feel anger in a healthy way? If I don't, what can I do? What sort of outlet can I find for myself to allow myself to transmute these feelings of anger? When we can stop allowing our anger to manifest as aggression, which ultimately only ever cuts us off from the present moment, and therefore our higher selves, which really knows what it is that we want and what we want to do in that moment, how we want to react in that moment, then we can finally disconnect ourselves from that habituated knee-jerk response that always seems to come out whenever we experience a trigger that fuels an aggressive or angry response. Again, Mars retrograde, rethinking about our actions, our reactions. Are we just reacting to life, or are we acting consciously in life to create the conditions that we want to create? Are we consciously responding, or are we just allowing ourselves to react to life, or are we making life react to us? It's one or the other. It can't necessarily go both ways. When you're responding to life and life is responding to you, that's when things get messy. But if you are an active creator, if you play an active role in the creation of your reality, life responds to you. We've been dealing with Chiron sitting in Aries as well for quite some time. On September 11th, he's going to be making an opposition to Mercury, the communication planet. And Chiron is the wounded healer. He represents a lot of the past wounds, past areas in our life that seem to never be reconciled. But with Mercury making an opposition to him on September 11th, this does open up an opportunity for us to find some reconciliation in a lot of these situations that we may be struggling with right now. It could open up an opportunity for forgiveness. It gives us a chance to ask ourselves, what is it in our life that we need to forgive? Do we need to forgive anybody? Do we need to forgive ourselves? Do we need to forgive a certain situation or circumstances? What is it that we need to forgive so that we can let go? And in forgiveness, a lot of the times it's not for the other person, it's for ourselves. It's so we can get unstuck from this situation that keeps holding us in these emotions that don't serve the reality that we want to create for ourselves. And especially with Mars in retrograde, we can be dealing with a lot of feelings of feeling stuck, feeling prevented from moving forward, feeling prevented from doing the things that we want to do, maybe because there's some external limitations that are imposing on us and preventing us from doing what we want to do. Or maybe it's ourselves, maybe it's self-imposed limitations, maybe it's our fears that are holding us back, or maybe we're just waiting for something, maybe we're waiting for conditions to be perfect, and we think something external that is going to happen that's going to make everything right so we can finally take action on the things that we've been waiting for but not doing. I think, though, the important thing to realize and remember is that if we keep waiting for the external conditions to be perfect, we're never going to get anywhere. We are the creators of our own reality. As cheesy as that is, we are the ones that ultimately have to create the conditions. And it starts within us. It starts with us becoming emotionally and vibrationally aligned to the reality that we want to live in, to the emotions that we want to feel. And if we keep ourselves so stuck and focused on the feelings of the not having, we're just continuously aligning ourselves with those negative feelings and keeping ourselves stuck in the same situation, as opposed to focusing on what we want, aligning ourselves emotionally and vibrationally with what it is that we want, so that we can allow the space for that to come into our reality. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we're all human and we all want to feel good. We want to feel the good feelings, and we often find so many justifications for why it is that we deserve to feel good or want to feel good. And these justifications overcomplicate the pathway to feeling good. It keeps us, again, so focused on how we're not feeling good right now that we don't align ourselves with the pathway that's going to bring us to feeling good. If we keep ourselves aligned and focused on that path, the universe fills in the rest of the details. That's generally what's supposed to happen. We get ideas, we want to put these ideas in motion, but we also need to allow the space for the universe to interact with us and co-create with us. So, Mars retrograde, reflecting on our actions, reflecting on our reactions, reflecting on our desires, getting clear on our desires. And remember that where you are in your journey right now is perfect. You are exactly where you are meant to be right now. The fact that you're watching this video and listening to this message is for a reason. The timing is all right. We just, again, need to remember to stay grounded, stay present, stay in tune, stay connected, and the rest will fall into place. We just have to trust the process, trust the universe, trust the uncertainty of it all. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still watching, I so greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share all the good things. If you think anyone would find this useful or beneficial, please share that with them as well. If you have any questions, if you want to chat, if you want to schedule a reading, head on over to my Instagram profile. Everything is there, and I hope you have a magical rest of the week.